Paris, August 31st, 1997. The air is thick with summer heat that refuses to break even after midnight. The Ritz Hotel glows like a jewel on the Place Vendôme, its golden facade catching the streetlights, its revolving doors spinning with the rhythm of wealth and celebrity, and the kind of attention that never sleeps. Inside, in a service corridor away from the cameras, two men stand in silence. Trevor Rees-Jones and Henri Paul. One is a bodyguard. The other will be driving. In 3 hours, one of them will be dead. The other will wake up in a hospital with a face reconstructed by titanium plates and memories scattered like broken glass across a tunnel floor. But right now, in this moment, they do not know. They are simply doing their jobs. Waiting, watching, protecting. This is not a story about a princess. This is a story about the men who were supposed to keep her alive. About what happened to them in the tunnel. About what happened to them after. About the part of the story that gets buried under conspiracy theories and memorial flowers and the weight of a tragedy so public that the private details, the human details, vanish beneath it. The bodyguards. We never talk about the bodyguards. Trevor Rees-Jones is 29 years old. Former British paratrooper. Part of the elite protection team at the Ritz, which is owned by Mohammed Al Fayed, whose son Dodi is dating Princess Diana. Trevor has been doing this job for 2 years. He is good at it. Professional. Calm. The kind of calm that comes from military training, from knowing how to assess threats, how to create exit strategies, how to put his body between danger and the person he is protecting. Tonight, he does everything right. And it is not enough. Henri Paul is 41, deputy head of security at the Ritz. He has been called back to work on his night off because the paparazzi situation outside is out of control. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds. Motorcycles and cameras and the hungry mechanical clicking that follows Diana everywhere she goes. Henri is supposed to help coordinate the exit, get Diana and Dodi safely away from the hotel. It is a routine protection detail. He has done this before, but Henri Paul has been drinking. The toxicology reports will show this later. Blood alcohol level 3 times the legal limit. Traces of prescription medication. And no one knows. Not Trevor. Not the other security staff. Not Diana. Not Dodi. Henri Paul appears sober. He appears competent. He appears ready to drive. This is the detail that changes everything. This is the crack in the armor that no amount of training can compensate for. The bodyguards can assess external threats. They cannot read blood alcohol levels. They cannot see into the chemistry of a man's bloodstream and know that he is impaired. They can only see what he shows them. And Henri Paul shows them confidence. The plan is simple. Use a decoy. Send a car out the front entrance to draw the paparazzi away. Then take Diana and Dodi out the back in a different car. Quick, quiet, a standard evasion tactic. Trevor will ride in the front passenger seat. Henri will drive. Dodi and Diana will be in the back. No other security. No chase cars. Just the 4 of them in a black Mercedes S280 trying to outrun cameras. Trevor Rees-Jones puts on his seatbelt. This is the detail that will save his life. The only person in the car wearing a seatbelt. Later, investigators will fixate on this. Why was he the only one? Was he the only one who understood the risk? The only one who felt the danger before it arrived? Or was he simply following procedure? Doing what his training taught him? Making the small choice that separates survival from death? They leave the Ritz at 12:20 a.m. The paparazzi swarm immediately. The decoy did not work. Or it worked for 30 seconds and then the photographers realized and now they are following. 7 motorcycles. Maybe 9. The accounts differ. They weave through traffic. They run red lights. Their cameras flash through the Mercedes windows like lightning. Constant. Disorienting. Turning the night into a strobe. Henri Paul accelerates. He is going 65 miles per hour. Then 75, then 90, through the streets of Paris. The night, with paparazzi on motorcycles surrounding the car like a swarm. Trevor Rees-Jones, in the front seat, does not tell Henri to slow down. The investigators will ask about this later. Why didn't you tell him to slow down? Why didn't you take control? And Trevor will not remember. The crash will erase the minutes before impact. The last thing he remembers is leaving the hotel. Everything after that is gone, wiped clean by trauma, by the physics of what happens to a human brain when a car moving at 90 miles per hour hits a concrete pillar. If you are drawn to the stories behind the stories, to the forgotten people in famous tragedies, then stay with us. This is not about conspiracy. This is about consequence. This is about what happens to the people who survive when everyone else wants them to have answers they do not have. The crash happens at 12:23 a.m., 3 minutes after leaving the Ritz, in the Pont de El Alma tunnel. The Mercedes enters the tunnel at high speed, clips a white Fiat Uno. No one will ever conclusively identify this car. It is there in the evidence, paint transfer, witnesses, but the driver never comes forward. The car is never found. This detail will fuel conspiracy theories for decades. But for Trevor Rees-Jones, in the moment, it does not matter. The car is swerving. The tunnel walls are close. And then there is impact. The Mercedes hits the 13th pillar on the right side of the tunnel, head-on, 93 miles per hour. The car does not crumple in the way modern cars are designed to crumple, absorbing impact, protecting passengers. It is a 1994 model. The safety standards are different. The front of the car collapses. The engine is pushed backward into the passenger compartment. Henri Paul dies instantly. So does Dodi Al-Fayed. Diana is critically injured. And Trevor Rees-Jones, the only one wearing a seatbelt, survives. But survival is not the same as being unharmed. The airbag deploys, but it is not enough. Trevor's face hits the dashboard. The impact shatters his facial bones, his jaw, his cheekbones, his forehead, his nose. His face is, in medical terms, destroyed. 10 hours of surgery will be required to reconstruct it. Titanium plates and screws will hold the pieces together. He will be unrecognizable when he wakes up, even to himself. He is unconscious when the emergency services arrive. Unconscious when they extract him from the wreckage. Unconscious when Diana is pulled from the car and placed in the ambulance that will take 40 minutes to reach the hospital 5 miles away. He does not see her die. He does not hear the doctors trying to save her. He does not know in those first hours that he is the only survivor. When he wakes up, 10 days later, he does not remember the crash. He does not remember the tunnel. He does not remember Henri Paul or the speed or the paparazzi or the last thing Diana said. His memory stops at the hotel. Everything after that is blank. And this blank space, this absence of memory, becomes its own kind of burden. Because the world wants answers. The world wants to know what happened in the car. What was said. What was done. Why they were going so fast. Whether there was a conspiracy. Whether there was foul play. Whether someone wanted Diana dead. And Trevor Rees-Jones, the only survivor, the only witness, cannot tell them. He does not know. He cannot remember. The investigators ask him anyway. Again and again. French police, British police. The inquest in 2007, 10 years after the crash. They show him photographs. They describe the scene. They try to trigger his memory. And Trevor answers honestly, "I do not remember. I do not know. I am sorry. Cannot help you." But the world does not accept this. The world thinks he is lying. The world thinks he is protecting someone. The conspiracy theorists claim he was paid off, that he knows the truth and is hiding it, that his amnesia is convenient, too convenient. They send him death threats. They accuse him of being part of a cover-up. They make him into a villain in a story where he is, at most, a survivor. And through all of this, Trevor Rees-Jones has to rebuild his face. Literally. The surgery is successful in the sense that he is functional. He can eat. He can speak. He can breathe. But he looks different. The bones are not in the same place. The symmetry is gone. When he looks in the mirror, he sees a stranger. And he has to learn to be this stranger, to accept this new face, to live inside it. He also has to live with the guilt. This is the part no one talks about. The survivor's guilt. He was the bodyguard. His job was to protect Diana, and she died. It does not matter that he was not driving. It does not matter that he could not control Henri Paul's blood alcohol level. It does not matter that the crash was, by all objective analysis, not his fault. He was there. He survived. She did not. And that guilt is heavier than any conspiracy theory. Trevor leaves his job. He cannot go back to personal protection. The most famous protection failure in modern history is not a resume builder. He moves back to Shropshire. He tries to live quietly. He writes a book in 2000, 3 years after the crash, called The Bodyguard Story. It is an attempt to set the record straight, to explain what he does remember, what he does not, and why. The book is honest, maybe too honest. It does not satisfy the conspiracy theorists. It does not give them the hidden truth they are looking for. It simply says, this is what I know and this is what I do not know, and I have to live with both. But there is another bodyguard in this story, one who was not in the car, one who might have prevented everything. His name is Kes Wingfield. He is Trevor's colleague, another former British paratrooper, another member of the Ritz protection team. And on the night of August 31st, Kes Wingfield is supposed to be with Diana and Dodi. He has been with them all day. He has been part of the security detail for the entire trip. But at the last minute, Dodi changes the plan. Dodi decides they do not need 2 bodyguards. Dodi tells Kes to stand down, to stay at the hotel. Only Trevor will go. Kes Wingfield objects. He argues, it is a bad idea. You need 2 bodyguards. You need a chase car. You need proper security. This is not protocol. This is not safe. But Dodi is insistent, and Dodi is the client. And in personal protection, the client makes the final decision. Even when the decision is dangerous. Even when the bodyguard knows better. So Kes stays at the hotel, and Trevor goes. And Trevor is the one who survives the crash. And Kes is the one who has to live with the knowledge that if he had been in the car, maybe it would have been different. Maybe he would have insisted Henri Paul slow down. Maybe he would have seen the signs of intoxication that everyone missed. Maybe he would have made a different call. Or maybe he would have died too. There is no way to know. But Kes Wingfield knows what Trevor went through. The physical trauma, the memory loss, the guilt, the conspiracy theories, the death threats. And Kes knows that could have been him. That by pure chance, by the arbitrary decision of a client, he was spared. And this knowledge does not bring relief. It brings its own kind of weight. Kes leaves personal protection too. He cannot do the job anymore. Not after this. Not after watching what happened to Trevor. Not after knowing how fragile the line is between doing everything right and losing everything anyway. He moves to France. He becomes a vineyard manager. He tries to find peace in work that has nothing to do with bodyguarding, with protection, with standing between people and the dangers that want to harm them. Neither Trevor nor Kes will ever do personal protection again. The crash ends their careers. It ends their identities as protectors. It turns them into survivors of a tragedy they could not prevent. And the world forgets about them. The world remembers Diana. The world remembers the conspiracy theories. The world remembers the flowers at Kensington Palace and the Elton John song and the princes walking behind the coffin. But the world does not remember Trevor Rees-Jones with his reconstructed face and his erased memory. The world does not remember Kes Wingfield, who was not in the car but carries the weight of that absence. This is what happens to bodyguards. They are invisible when they succeed. They are blamed when they fail. And when tragedy strikes, they are expected to have answers they do not have, to carry guilt that is not entirely theirs, and to live with the knowledge that their job is impossible. That no amount of training, no amount of vigilance, no amount of courage can guarantee the safety of another human being in a world full of variables they cannot control. The inquest in 2007 concludes that Diana and Dodi were unlawfully killed due to the gross negligence of Henri Paul and the paparazzi. Trevor testifies. He sits in the courtroom and tells them again, "I do not remember, cannot help you," and the conspiracy theorists are disappointed. They wanted a revelation. They wanted proof of assassination plots and government cover-ups. They got a traumatized man with gaps in his memory and a rebuilt face. But the inquest does reveal something important. It reveals how many small decisions led to the crash. How many tiny moments of chance and choice stacked on top of each other until tragedy became inevitable. If Dodi had not dismissed Kes Wingfield, if Henri Paul had not been drinking, if Trevor had insisted on a different driver, if Diana had worn her seatbelt, if the paparazzi had stopped chasing, if the Fiat Uno had not been in the tunnel, if any one of these variables had been different, everyone might have survived. But they were not different, and 3 people died, and 1 man survived with a face he did not recognize and a memory that stopped before the moment he needed it most. Trevor Rees-Jones is still alive. He is 56 now. He lives quietly. He does not give interviews. He does not appear in documentaries about Diana. He has said everything he has to say. He wrote his book. He testified at the inquest. He has nothing more to add. The absence of memory is not mysterious. It is simply the reality of traumatic brain injury. The brain protects itself by erasing the worst moments. And sometimes that erasure is permanent. Kes Wingfield is also still alive. He also lives quietly. He tends his vineyard. He does not talk about that night. He has moved on, as much as anyone can move on from being tangentially connected to one of the most scrutinized deaths in modern history. And the question that haunts both of them, the question that has no answer, is this: could they have stopped it? If they had made different choices, if they had pushed back harder, if they had refused to follow Dodi's orders, would it have made a difference? Or was the crash always going to happen, the result of forces larger than any one person's decisions? There is no way to know. There is only the aftermath, the reconstructed face, the erased memory, the guilt that does not require fault to exist, the knowledge that you were there, you were supposed to protect, and you could not. If you have stayed with us through this, thank you. This is not a story with a satisfying ending. It is not a story with a villain or a hero. It is simply a story about the people who were there when history happened, who did their jobs, who survived or did not survive, and who have to live with the outcome either way. The bodyguards, the forgotten men, the ones who stand in the background of photographs, scanning crowds, planning exit routes, calculating risk. The ones who are invisible until something goes wrong, and then they are blamed for the uncontrollable. For the chaos, for the fact that no one, no matter how well trained, can guarantee safety in a world that is fundamentally unsafe. Trevor Rees-Jones wore his seatbelt. This one small act of following protocol saved his life, and it condemned him to survive, to wake up in a hospital with a destroyed face and no memory, to be interrogated for years by people who thought he was lying, to be turned into a conspiracy theory, to carry the weight of a princess's death even though he did everything he was trained to do. Kes Wingfield stayed at the hotel. This one small act of following orders kept him out of the car, and it gave him a different burden. The burden of wondering, of knowing that chance decided who lived and who died, who was traumatized and who was simply haunted. Paris still stands. The Pont de l'Alma tunnel is still there. Cars drive through it every day. Tourists sometimes stop at the unofficial memorial. The flame above the tunnel that was meant to symbolize Franco-American friendship but has become a shrine to Diana. They leave flowers. They take photographs. They do not think about the bodyguards. But the bodyguards are still there, in the gaps of the story, in the details no one talks about. in the question of what it means to protect someone and fail not because you did not try, but because the variables were too many and the outcome was never in your control. This is not a story about a princess. This is a story about the men who were supposed to save her, about what it costs to survive when you were trained to protect, about the weight of memory and the weight of its absence, about how history remembers the famous and forgets the people standing beside them, the ones whose lives are changed just as completely but whose names no one learns. Trevor Rees-Jones and Kes Wingfield. Remember them, not because they are heroes, not because they are villains, but because they were there, because they tried, because they carry scars, visible and invisible, from a night when everything went wrong despite everyone doing what they thought was right. The tunnel is dark. The tunnel is always dark. And somewhere in that darkness, in the 3 minutes between leaving the Ritz and hitting the 13th pillar, there are answers that will never be recovered, memories that will never return, choices that can never be unmade. The bodyguards know this. They live with this, and the world moves on, chasing new tragedies, new conspiracies, new famous deaths. But for Trevor and Kes, August 31st, 1997 never ends. It is always midnight. They are always in that moment, preparing, protecting, failing, surviving. This is what no one talks about. This is the story that gets buried under the flowers and the theories and the endless speculation. This is the human cost, the private grief, the faces we do not see because we are looking at the one face everyone remembers. The bodyguards, they were there. They remain, in the silence, in the gaps, in the spaces between what we know and what we can never know, carrying their burdens, wearing their scars, remembering and not remembering, living with the night everything changed. And the tunnel, dark and indifferent, accepts another car, and another, as if nothing happened, as if 3 people did not die here, as if one man did not survive with a rebuilt face and a broken memory, as if the world did not change in 3 minutes. But it did, and they know. The bodyguards know. And that knowledge, that terrible, intimate knowledge of how fragile protection is, how impossible the job truly is, that is what they carry. That is what no one talks about. Until now.